Welcome to everyone there. If this is your first time joining us for Webinar Wednesday, it's great to be with you here. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Hopefully you'll learn a lot and you have some good questions for us and topics for us to cover. We're very lucky to be joined today by both Patrick and Gabriel. Gabriel's working behind the scenes to answer some of your questions and provide you guys with some awesome information during the webinar. And always great to have Patrick Burnell with us here. Many of you may have had phone calls with both Patrick and Gabriel actually, and we're lucky enough to have them on the webinar with us today. So thanks for joining us, Pat.
Awesome to be here. Thank you, Jason.
So Webinar Wednesdays run about an hour to about an hour and a half. We've had some that have gone as long as 2 hours. We'll try to get to everyone's questions. And again, if this is your first time joining us, we do recommend you also join our LinkedIn strategy group in case you have more questions after the webinar. That's a great place to ask marketing questions on how to promote your directory, monetize your website, and more. So you can go to brilliantdirectories.com/LinkedIn, and as long as you're logged into LinkedIn, you can join the group for free and participate in the discussions there. And to help stimulate some ideas on the types of questions you guys can ask, it can really be about anything related to the design of your site, all the way to monetizing your site, converting more members. We can even talk about search engine optimization and more. So all questions are good questions, and we'll do our best to give the best knowledgeable answers that we can for you. All right, so big news. We started Webinar Wednesdays early this year in January. I love them. It's my favorite time of the week. We've done, I think, nearly 20 Webinar Wednesdays almost back to back since the beginning of the year, and they're all on our website. You can watch replays. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/webinars, and you'll see a nice list of all the replays there. We're going to take a few weeks off. The next webinar date is going to be Wednesday, July 19th at this same time. So just want to make sure you guys have that down in your calendar. If you're registered for this webinar, you don't need to register for future webinars. It's a new system we've taken advantage of with GoToWebinar. So you don't have to worry about registering. You'll get email reminders automatically. But if you wanted to put it down in your personal calendars, Wednesday, July 19th will be the next webinar date. And I'll miss you guys. All right, we have a lot of contest winners. Last week's contest winner, we have Divyesh Amipara. I know he's been following Brilliant Directories for a few years. He liked and retweeted a post on our Twitter page. So we've selected you to be last week's contest winner, and you get a free Power Website plan. You can email support@brilliantdirectories.com. So congratulations, Divyesh, on winning that contest. But 2 weeks ago, there was another contest to leave a Google review, and anyone who left a review won $50 credits to their Brilliant Directories account. And we said that we were going to choose our favorite review that we liked out of the bunch and apply an extra $100 of bonus credits to your Brilliant Directories account. Pat, what happened?
Well, we were reading the reviews and we're having a really tough time choosing our favorite one. So we figured since everybody took the time out to write nice reviews, that make everybody a winner this week.
That's right. So the additional $100 bonus has already been added to your Brilliant Directories account as credits. So Vincent, Emily, Jerome, Sheila, Uni, Joel, JJ, and Sal, thank you guys very much for the reviews and the feedback. We always appreciate it. And even when they're constructive reviews, they kind of give us a hint on things that we need to improve on or things that we can do better. And we just love staying in touch with our community and working on making it better for everyone. So thanks guys for the reviews. Lots of contest winners this week. Because our next webinar date is going to be July 19th, we're going to put the contests on hold for this webinar. But what we do have instead of an awesome contest is an even better deal of the week. And Pat, you want to go ahead and explain this deal of the week that we have?
Sure thing. And can you hear me loud and clear, Jason, on your end?
Yes, sounds great.
All right. All right, fantastic. So this week what we're going to be offering is the lead generation landing page. So what we're going to be doing is helping you build a page on your site just like you see it in the screenshot. That's exactly what we're going to be doing for you. And by having a lead generation page on your website, you have an easy way to explain to the general public that comes to your website why it is they should fill out this form. For those of you that are not familiar with the form, what we're looking at here is the Bootstrap Get Match form that ties directly into the lead engine. So anybody that fills out that form, it's going to go into your lead engine for you to either manually match to your members, or if you've purchased the Auto Match plugin, it'll automatically get matched to all of your members. We know a lot of you have sometimes you've mentioned that you'd like some help creating these types of pages. We call them splash pages or landing pages, and we'll go ahead and help set that up for you for that amazing deal of $45. So that'll include a 15-minute setup call. So ideally, you'll have all the contents ready. You'll get an email template after you purchase this. You'll get an email from us indicating the things that you should have ready on your end so that we can make sure we have all of this set up, including that little image you see there. You'll be able to replace that on that 15-minute call with the coach as well. So this is the first time we do something like this. This is based on the feedback we've been getting from everybody on these webinars. And if it's something that you enjoy, if a lot of people take advantage of this, then we'll likely continue to create more landing pages like this and make it easy for you guys to have professionals set up on the phone to help cross all the T's and dot all the I's.
Yeah, that's right. And there's only, it's a very simple template, but it's very effective. So if you're focused on generating leads for your professional members on your website, this page will do that. And we'll match the colors to match your website's theme. And you just have to let us know what you want some of the promotional text to be, like the benefits of submitting a quote, and we'll add it to your site. And what this will result in on your site is you'll generate more leads, so you'll have more assets to distribute to your members, which is great for your website. You'll generate more revenue if you're selling those leads. You'll collect more email addresses. So anyone who fills out this form, that's an email that you have that you can market to at a later time in the future. And then as Patrick said, you'll get that 15-minute setup call to make sure that this page is set up correctly, the template is used properly. And you can go to brilliantdirectories.com/landing, and that'll redirect you to the checkout page. And Gabe will share a link to this in the chat here, the GoToWebinar chat, so you guys can bookmark that, and we'll also email a link to this page after the webinar. All right, and I just wanted to run a quick flash survey since we'll be taking a break for a few weeks, and we've done almost 20 Webinar Wednesdays. I'll run a poll here, and we're just curious how many of you in the audience today, how many Webinar Wednesdays have you attended? And I'll launch this poll right now. You should see it on your screen now. If this is your first webinar, you can just select the first one. If you've attended 2, 3, 4, 5, or almost all of them, you can just vote on in. It looks like everyone has voted. If you haven't voted yet, just click an option on your screen, and this will let us know how many times you guys have attended the webinars. It's actually pretty even. It's almost 25% for first-timers, 2 to 3 times, 4 to 5 times, and 27% have almost attended all of the webinars. Nobody did not remember how many webinars they attended, so that's a good thing. All right, guys. So now for the fun part here. So if you guys need this link, it's brilliantdirectories.com/landing. And now we will pass it to you guys to ask your questions. You can type them in or raise your hand, and Patrick and I will do our best to provide you with some good guidance and answers for your questions.
I do have a question that was written in from Steve. And he's asking, is it enough to depend on keywords on our website to get good results by the SEO results? So I guess what he means is spending the time that you need to spend to get all of the keywords right on your website so that that'll then lead to increased website traffic. Is that enough, or should you be doing more? I think you're definitely the man to answer that question.
Yes, there are a lot of factors that go into how your sites or a specific page is going to rank in Google. And keywords actually, and let me show you when we're talking about keywords, let me look into the source code here real quick. So when you have a web page, you can define the title of that page. And you can also define keywords, and keywords are usually separated by commas here. Google and other search engines have actually not given so much more value to what's called the meta keywords on a web page because they learn that a lot of people just jam-pack them or spam or use spammy keywords to try to give value to a web page. What's more important on a specific web page to make sure that it ranks well is actually the title of the page. You want to make sure that your keywords are in the title and that the title is not overly long or too spammy. I think it's recently increased, but I think 160 or 255 characters is the maximum. I'm not sure which one, or 180. Somewhere around there is the maximum you want to really be with your Google title. And with Brilliant Directories on your different web pages, so what I did is I just clicked to edit our home page here with the toggle. And what's really good about Brilliant Directories is that you do have a section on your sidebar that's called SEO Meta Details. And here you can define your title, your keywords, as well as your meta description. And you should definitely put a few keywords in here, maybe 4 to 6 keyword phrases, phrases that make sense for your website. If you're a directory of Florida dentists, as an example, instead of just having dentists as one of the keywords, make sure you could have Florida dentists. Dentists in Florida could be one keyword phrase is what they call it, and you can have 4 or 5 of those. But what's most important is the page meta title and also the actual content on the web page. A lot of people launch their directory websites and they see that their sites are not ranking in Google very well. Part of the problem is they haven't used any of the keywords they want to rank for as content on their web pages. So you want to make sure that when you're adding a title or a subtitle or anywhere else you're adding a body of text on your website, that you're including the keywords you want to be found for. If you don't use those keywords on your site, it's going to be harder to rank against competitors who are using those keywords on a specific web page. All right, good question. Who asked that question, Pat?
Steve asked that question.
Okay, good question.
That was a great answer.
All right. Barry, I've unmuted your microphone. I see you got your hand raised there, Barry.
Hi, Jason. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's no longer the day here. It's early night.
Okay.
Just on 12 o'clock.
All right. All right. UK?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for staying up for us. And what's your question for us today?
I was checking my site the other day on a mobile, and when you get the listings up, there isn't a button for the profile. So if you do a search on a mobile, all the listings are shown, but there aren't any buttons for actually going to the profile or contacting.
Let's check that out. Do you mind if we take a look at your site?
Yeah, that's fine.
What's it called?
I'll send it over to you because it's a bit of a long-winded one.
Okay. I'll check the chat. All right, I got it. All right, highly rated mortgage brokers.
That's all.
Good keywords in the title there, as well as UK. So what you're saying is, let me do a search here, and then I'll toggle it into a mobile view. So on a regular search, you have these buttons here that say View Profile and Contact Now.
Yeah, that's it.
And when you toggle to a mobile view, let me get rid of this sidebar here. When you toggle to a mobile view, like so, the buttons go away.
Yeah.
Okay. It is done on purpose like that. A lot of times, we can have it show there if you want. But by default, a lot of times when you go to mobile view, because the screens are smaller, sometimes you want to remove non-essential elements. So in this case, you can click on the picture or on the name of the person, which is what people are normally used to. When I'm using the Yelp app or another type of directory app, I know that I can click on the title. But if you really wanted to make it clear for people, I could make it so that this this does show. Let me see what I can do. Let me give you an option here.
Yeah.
And then you tell me what you would like to do. All right, so we're going to use this one as an example. So what I could do is have it go underneath.
Yeah, underneath would be preferable.
And then also let me access Notepad. Let me see here. And also add excess. Excess means when it's in a tiny screen. Excess T margin. And what you might want to do in this case is maybe the contact now. We don't show on mobile, so it's just view profile.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be better.
Because so it would be something like this, and then they would all have view profile under their images.
Yeah, I would prefer that. I think people are missing how to get through to the brokers.
Okay, let me try one more thing here. We could also potentially put it to the left of the image. Just give me one moment. That would be, yeah, we could do that.
I don't mind where it is actually.
And I'll get rid of this. There we go. So it would look, this would be the example. It'd look more something like this. Is that good for you?
Yeah, that's a lot better. I do.
All right, let me.
I think it needs a.
All right, let me update that for you. Give me one moment. So basically, we're just adding some Bootstrap classes here to achieve that kind of styling. And
Right.
where we want to edit that is under the Content, Edit Post Settings. Looks like you've done a good job setting up the rest of your directory as well, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So we're going to go to, we are editing the listing setting under Search Results Design, and everyone has access to this. So if you're a developer and you really want to edit the design of your member search results, you do have the ability to do that. And I'll add this, and then I'll make the other one hidden, which was this one. All right, and let's make sure everything's looking fine. Let me refresh the page. Let's cross our fingers. So there we go. So now, basically, this is going to, if the logo is like this one is blocking it here, it'll.
Yeah, kick it. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine, Jason. That's good.
Right. I think I can do one more better for you, so it doesn't do that. It'll be lined up on all of them properly, and that will be better for you. And then we'll move on from here. So we're going to do col access pull, or sorry, push to, yep, and that'll make sure they're all pushed over 2 columns, and they'll all be lined up always like that. So let me do that. Okay. And after this saves, I'll refresh the page, and you should be good to go. I see this one is. Let me remove that. That was not going to be the best. So we'll leave it like the way it was before. And now you have, so that this doesn't happen. It'll take a little longer if I do it the other way, but this should be good enough for you now where the view profile buttons are there.
Perfect. Thank you, Jason.
All right, you're very welcome. Thanks for your question.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and unmic Mike's Mike here. That's pretty complicated to say. Hey, Mike, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff. So you had a question regarding purchasing traffic from Google AdWords, so to speak, in comparison to focusing on keywords. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So what is your directory about?
It's an event calendar for car and motorcycle and vehicle events.
Okay, and it's very similar to the first question that we fielded. It's a very complex topic to cover, but essentially best practices as I know them, especially with Google AdWords, is things that Google really care about now when you are going to be advertising with them is how good is the landing page you're driving traffic to and which keywords are you targeting. So what Google cares about is if somebody clicks on the ad that you've purchased, is that person going to stay on your page? In other words, are you giving them the answers that they were typing for? Because Google wants to be the resource for where people go to in order to find what they're looking for. So not to get too complex, Google doesn't want to just sell ads. They want to sell quality ads that answer the questions that people are searching for. So in this case, probably what you'd want to do is you wouldn't want to get into advertising or spending until you have a page to take people to that could convert well, that provides the information they're looking for. So if somebody is typing in, car events in San Francisco, having a landing page for car events in San Francisco that gives them the information that they're looking for will be more beneficial than just taking them to your search result page, because you've taken the time to build out a clean page that is tailor-made with the keywords that are already indexed or targeted in that particular search query in Google. So advertising costs money. Have you advertised at Google before?
No, I've held off for the very reason that you said, is that I don't think we're quite ready, and the same with Facebook. So we have several choices where we could spend some resources. Certainly Google is one of them. Facebook would be another. And certainly our competitor, you see Eventbrite coming up. One of our targets for our growth would be to exceed the capacity of Eventbrite. And we've identified a lot of weaknesses in Eventbrite, but they definitely have Google's attention at this point.
Of course, and my recommendation when people are starting out with advertising is to, and we covered a landing page as an example, right? That get matched landing page. You could easily make that an events landing page for a particular city, and what you could do is you could start practicing spending on a small budget, right? Don't wait until everything is ready to start your marketing. Just tell yourselves, okay, we're gonna have a very small budget, but we're gonna get in the game. We're gonna learn how Google AdWords work. We're gonna learn how to read analytics reports. We're gonna learn to identify A/B testing, and we're gonna learn how to adjust our Google ads in AdWords based on performance and times and demographics and so to speak, meaning that there's such a big learning curve to learn, right? It's not like something you turn on or off one day. It's something you're forever learning and getting better at. I know Jason's been doing this forever, and he continues to learn and read new ebooks and find out what's the latest with Google. So my recommendation would be build one landing page for one city and one service that actually provides quality content for the person that actually is going to click on that. And you have to identify what is the keyword, right? So once you've done that, then start advertising and become familiar with the tools, all the while optimizing your site with keywords. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Well, it does to some extent, but I'm not exactly sure what you mean by landing page.
Sure thing. You want to, Jason? Would you like to go to the interior design page we created, perhaps?
Yes, but he also he does.
Could you go to our page and show me where a landing page could be?
Sure. What's your site?
Well, it would be southeastwheelseventsponsors.com.
See if I spelled that right. Look at that.
Close enough, you got it. By the way, I'm a little challenged. I think they did answer, but after I hit a Kickstarter work this weekend, since then I haven't been able to log on. So I haven't been able to get any work done or really explore how successful it was.
So I think with events, you have to ask yourself, when you're running ads to your site, what is it that you want people to do? Do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to click a link? Do you want to collect their email address? What do you want to do if you were to do advertising?
Well, I think that the strength of it would be is that if anybody wanted to find out what they were going to do Saturday or Sunday this weekend, is that they could go to Google and hit car shows in whatever city or whatever area, say car shows in Atlanta area, 50 miles around Atlanta.
Okay.
And they would come up with our site. So the first thing it would be is just to get them to click on our site. And they would see the events.
Okay, and then when they see the events, what would be considered a success for you after they've reached your site and they're looking at the events? Is it contacting the event coordinator, buying a ticket from the event coordinator? What would you consider a success or a conversion?
I think probably at this point we would definitely like to be able to provide a ticketing capacity for the events. We haven't got there.
Okay.
Probably contacting the coordinator, or at that point clicking on an advertising banner.
Gotcha. So
the advertiser paid, linking to an advertiser.
So for you, success would be directing traffic to a source that correlates to their original search. So they're looking.
Yeah, well, really success with us is if they were on there looking at an event and said, "Oh my, I need a muffler," and they click on year one.
Gotcha. So Pat,
one would love to see, year one's going to hire us to get their ad in order to get customers.
Right. So Pat, I think thanks for sharing that. It seems like it's a combination of showing events that are happening based on the user search, and then what would be beneficial here moving forward is you can have a little form that says, "Are you interested in car shows in San Francisco? Register your email address and we'll keep you up to date." So that way he's grabbing an email address in the process and delivering good content at the same time.
And the other thing I would like to do with it is to get something in there that would invite the people that are interested in this to participate in helping add content. Maybe some sort of contest or reward system where people add an event and and they get some points or some sort of recognition.
Yeah, I have two simple recommendations there that I think can instantly have an impact. One would be, Jason, if you could show him the interior design again, the demo we did for the homepage. Those two buttons, this is a design setting that we have by default. I think having one button say browse, find events near you, and the other one be post an event would go a long way to getting more content written. And the blue button that you see in the header, we'll let Jason do that, but yeah, the blue one, designers join our network. And since it's an event website, I don't think you need to say join our website. I think you just make that a button, a call to action that says post an event or publish your event. And that button that you see there on one of my websites, I changed the language on that specific call to actions and we almost doubled our leads, because that call to action, that button is on every page on Mobile View, and more people are on their mobile phones than anything else. If Jason minimizes that on Mobile View, you'll see that that is a critical call to action on your website. The main menu disappears on a mobile display, but it will not, that button always stays there, and you can see it's very prominent. It really stands out. So if on your website it said post an event, you'll probably see a significant increase in people wanting to do that because you're telling them what they can do rather than just join us, because that's a little vague because you're a newer brand and they're not familiar with what you offer.
That's a good idea.
We have a webinar that kind of covers how to how to modify the text on your site to really drive people to the actions you want them to perform, whether it's publishing an event or joining as a paid member. We have our masterclass webinars here. There's a link for free workshops on our site, and if you scroll down, we do have premium workshops that are for the VIP add-on club members, but we do cover things like 8 ways to increase traffic and revenue, which is exactly what you were asking, and we do cover things like Google Ads and Facebook Ads in several of these webinars. I'll post a link here to the training webinars. I'm going to put it in the chat for everyone, and I'll just put webinars all caps, and that's where you can also watch the replays of the webinar Wednesdays. So thanks for your question, and a lot of it comes down to having a good landing page, or actually a good text and calls to action on your website to drive people to do what you want them to do. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
So Mike brings up a good point. You know, once your site is set up, how do you draw traffic to your site? And we try to cover a lot of that in the webinar Wednesdays, but we go into real detail in the premium workshops, and these are usually about 2 hours plus long, and on specific topics with takeaway items and worksheets and handouts after them. So if you guys are interested in them, you can go to the free workshops page here and then toggle over to the premium workshops in orange. All right, let's continue with the questions. All right, we got another Barry. Barry, how you doing? Barry number 2.
Hi. I've spoken to you a few times actually, getting my website sorted out. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yep.
It's go to localphotographers and videographers.com.
All right.
And the question I want to raise is, we're about to upload the database of photographers I've got, which is about 8,000 plus. And I want to use the claim listings. I've got all of that on a database on my PC, and obviously I want to encourage them to claim their listing. Can I use, what happens about the email that they've already got listed on there? Because obviously every one of the ones I've got going up will have an email address.
The email will get added when you import those business listings.
I've got everyone. I've got everyone, and they will be included when I do the upload. There is some dummy data up on the website at the moment.
Gotcha. Yeah, the email will get imported with the list that you're adding to the website, and that's actually a good thing, because once you import that list, and if there's any activity on their page, they'll get notified. Like if someone writes them a review or leaves a comment or sends them a message, they'll get notified, but they'll be prompted to claim the listing if they want to take any further action, like responding to the review or taking advantage of any leads or referrals that come through their listing. So the fact that the email, you're going to be importing the listings with the email is invaluable, because you'll immediately be able to send a pulse of your website to them, and you'll be able to start showing them value from your website, and hopefully they'll be encouraged to claim the listing with the positive traction that they're receiving on your website.
I understand that, but my query is, at the moment, as the website is set up, if they try to claim the listing using the email I've sent them, the system will block them. Rather than...
Okay. Let me fix that for you.
Now, now, at the moment, as I understand it from a previous webinar, what that will happen is you will allow multiple sign-ups with the same email. But is there any way that we can make it with a claim listing, it has to be that email?
That would be a further customization in order to do that. That would be a further customization to do that. What you can do out of the box is just allow, if the email is already registered, you can sign up with the same email address. It doesn't matter which account. So you might want to start with that, and if you need further customization with that, that's something that can be done in the marketplace.
So I'd have to go to the marketplace to get that done.
To get it so only the claim listing accounts can have must have the same email address. But that might limit you if someone might be, Mike@photographer.com, and they're going to sign up with info@photographer.com. They might never be able to sign up because they don't know the email address that you have.
I will have emailed them, inviting them to the website, because I actually run a CRM, and that's linked, which is ACT. Every photographer is listed in there, and that is linked to SwiftPage, which is an email marketing process, and I can then designate a field within that telling them this is what you need to put in, here's your link, you can use this email to sign in with.
So the short answer is it can be customized just for claim listing people. And what you can do in the meantime with an existing feature we have in the advanced settings is enable the same email accounts functionality.
Yeah, and I think I have to update the sign-in form as well, don't I?
Exactly. And if you want, I can do that for you. I can just leave everything as it is right now.
Yeah, you can do that if you like.
All right. So let me first enable the same email accounts. And then I'm going to take the restriction off of the existing email on the sign-up form.
Because we're using an external, I'm using PayPal rather than Stripe, so I'm doing it as an external one. But as long as I know how to do one, I can go in and do the others.
Okay, great. So I'm editing your form, which is your sign-up paid member form, and on there's two email inputs. I'm going to go to the super options here, and there are some moderation. That it looks for a custom URL or custom email. I'm going to remove that restriction for you, and that's going to enable same emails to be able to register. And again, this works on a lot of sites. Most people don't want the same email addresses registering multiple times because then it creates duplicate content on your site that you want to avoid. So it looks like you're okay now.
Yeah, and the other little query, which is a CSS query, if possible, I've created a frequently asked questions part. I've put it on the menu, but I can't get the FAQ to center it all. If you go under join today, there's a drop down. How do I center the? They're just accordions.
Very nice. You did a good job with this.
Standard Bootstrap stuff, that is.
Standard Bootstrap. It looks fine to me. What's the issue with it?
No, it's the FAQ page is fine. It's the menu is I wanted to get the text in the center of it rather than to the left of it.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a quick one I'll do for you right now. So you want the FAQ centered here?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we can do real quick here.
I thought I found the CSS, but I couldn't find where to put it.
You've done a great job with your site, by the way. Just clicking around here, it looks really good. Even adding this FAQ is real nice. Standard Bootstrap stuff, good stuff. So what we can do is let's toggle open this join today, and I'm going to edit this, and I think I can just add text-center here. And if I save the changes and we reload the page, the FAQ should be centered now for you.
I was in the right place, but in the wrong bit.
Story of my life. All right. Thank you very much. Great questions, Barry.
Really appreciate these webinars, by the way. I have learned so much from listening to, I've been on most of them, and it's been really worthwhile. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Glad to have you, Barry. Good question there from Barry. We have 2 Barrys today. It's a lucky day for all of us. You know what they say, a berry a day? All right, let's see if we got more questions out here. Hey, Brandon, nice to see you in the webinar. It looks like Gabe's doing a great job answering a lot of the questions there behind the scenes.
I would say, just in general, if you were to ask me because I'm hearing a lot of focus on the keywords, and I definitely don't want anybody to feel misled. I do think there's a lot more that goes into having a successful directory website than getting the keywords right. It's all about what are you doing to drive traffic to the site. When you have a visitor on your site, do they bounce? Google cares a lot if they leave your website once they've gotten there. Is it a helpful resource? Is it something that somebody would save the URL? Is there new content being added regularly? There's so many pieces that go into Google starting to make your website an authority for a specific keyword, so even a doctor's name per se. So for my directories, I constantly focus on the content, and usually in 5 or 6 months of constantly creating content, we usually start seeing a bump in traffic coming from people searching for company names. So right now with our Sus Mommy magazine, which I've shared a few times on webinars, we're starting to get leads almost daily now with no advertising budget whatsoever, just from people doing Google searches, because we're starting to get recognized in Costa Rica as an authority. But that comes with time. It's not just get the keywords right and instantly, because everybody's competing for those top spots on Google. So you need to do a little bit more than just add the profile to your site, and you need to be a little active and make sure that you're constantly adding to the experience of the end user, which is your website visitor.
There is something called Google Sandbox, and I'll just read this. Google Sandbox is an alleged filter placed on new websites. So if you have a new website, you're probably in the Google Sandbox. And the result is basically Google's not going to give your site the ranking it deserves simply because it's a new website and it doesn't yet trust or see you as a credible resource yet. So Google's going to take their time before they give you, I guess, the rankings that you deserve, even with good content, abundant incoming links, and a strong Google PageRank. Sites can still adversely be affected by the sandbox effect. So when you launch your site, let's say you get all your keywords set up, you have all your pages set up, everything is optimized for search engines, there's still going to be a period of time that you're not going to see good rankings. And what Pat's explaining is there are other ways to bring traffic to your site rather than waiting only for Google. And a lot of that can be done on social media or other networks where you can reach out and grab people and bring them to your site rather than just waiting for people to find you in Google, which is a very passive way to wait for traffic.
Yeah, and because of the sandbox, the reason they do that is they know a lot of people will launch a website. There'll be a lot of energy put towards that website. They'll spend 2, 3, 4 months working on it, and because they're not seeing the results, they'll give up on the project. And when Google sees that the new content stops coming in, which happens with the majority of websites, the majority of websites stop after 4 or 5 months delivering new content, then they never really need to give it their due. So that's why they've created the sandbox in the first place, is to help identify the serious website from the ones that are just hobbyists and we're just giving something a try for a little short while.
Yep. So good things to consider there, but it's always good to optimize your site for search engines. All right, moving on to the next questions here. All right, Sheila, I got you here. Sheila, you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, very far away. How you doing today?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Much better, yeah. Where are you calling in from?
Chicago.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. So my question is, earlier someone had mentioned about Bootstrap scripts. I was wondering, does Bootstrap have a script where, similar to Yelp, with business hours closing? Do you know what I mean? Like if you put in the business hours and then it says closing soon, I don't know how you describe that, but does that make sense? It's very similar to Yelp.
So that one would be done, that would be a customization, and okay. What the business would do, so you can see here's for Brilliant Directories, it says hours and then closing now,
right,
rather than the regular hours here. So what you can have someone do is they'll customize it so the businesses can input their hours of operation Monday or Sunday through Saturday, and then on their profile page, it'll know that it's a Monday, and if it's 5 o'clock and the business is closing at 5, it can show the right message. So it's pretty straightforward customization, and I think someone from the marketplace should be able to tackle that for you. It should be pretty straightforward.
Okay, but for the future, or for future references, where would I find the best Bootstrap scripts?
So there's places called like Bootstrap Bay, and I think there's something called like Bootstrap Snippets. Let's see here. I'll put these links in the chat.
Okay, perfect.
Bootsnip, that's what it's called. Home of free Bootstrap codes, and they got lots of different things that you can use on your site. Some of them require data, some of them are just plug and play. Like you saw the FAQs that the gentleman was using earlier, he just swapped out the text for his frequently asked questions. So let me put these links here in the chat. And usually with these, you create a new widget with Brilliant Directories with the code that you need, and then you can embed that widget anywhere on your Brilliant Directories website.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Sheila. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, good stuff there. Sheila from Chicago.
All right, and we haven't talked about it, Jason. I don't know if you wanted to perhaps talk about one of the latest updates we did to the widget library to help identify duplicates. I believe it's released for all, and if not, it's most likely going to be released next week. But it should be live on your end. If you go to the widget library, I'd love an opportunity to show this off. It's something people have been asking for a long time.
All right, we're there.
There you go. Beautiful. So this is an update. I wish I had done it at the beginning of the webinar. I'm sure we're going to talk about it again at our next webinar because it is a very helpful update. Essentially, what we've done in the widget library is we've made it easy to identify widgets that are customized by the end user, meaning everybody on this call and myself. So you went ahead and customized the widget. Maybe you just wanted to look at the code, but you never made any changes to that widget. So all you did is you click Customize this widget, and it put a copy on your website, and it basically saved that copy. The reason this is important is it's important for you to identify widgets that don't have any custom code but have been customized, because those will stop receiving updates on your website. There's a help icon. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if you're interested about this new feature, you can actually click there and it'll take you straight to this, it'll take you to the documentation center, where it's going to give you an extremely detailed explanation of how this works and how this is going to have possibly the biggest impact on issues on websites occurring. So we're really, really excited about this update. I did want to make sure the development teams worked really hard on this for the last couple of months. So I did want to make sure that we did spend a few minutes on this and let everybody know that this is now live. And in the future, if you try to customize a widget and you don't make any changes in that widget, you'll be prompted that it's not going to save it because you haven't customized it yet. So it'll prevent future customized widgets from being saved in your admin. So hopefully this is going to help out, especially the developers on this call, and help prevent simple mistakes from occurring.
Gotcha. So this will be like preventing people from potentially changing code on their site, or not changing code that could potentially break things on their site.
Exactly, because you do not, exactly. It's going to make it easy for you to identify. So I would disable all of the widgets that are duplicates, meaning they're exact copies of the masters, before a master is pushed. It's important to take the time to do it. Just disable it. Yeah, because it won't delete anything, and disabling renames the widget. So so you don't have to delete anything. You could take it as an extra step, but by disabling a duplicate widget, you're guaranteed that if there's ever an update that's pushed to a master widget, your website's going to receive that update. So it's a really, really big deal for the platform itself. So we're going to make, I'm going to spend a lot more time on this in the next webinar, but since that's 3 weeks from now, I did want to make sure I at least mentioned it, since a lot of people on this webinar are going to see this in their admin, and now they'll be a little bit more familiar with what that functionality is there for.
Very nice. Great update. All right, Martin, I've restored everything back on your site here just so it's as it was. thanks for being a good sport and letting us use that as an example. All right, I think we can get a couple more questions in here. Looks like Gabe's handling a lot of questions there, so everyone's getting their questions answered in the chats. Thank you, Gabe, for that. All right, guys, that is the end of Webinar Wednesday. Make sure you put it down in your calendars, Wednesday, July 19th. We're just going to take a short break here, but we're very excited to get back. July 19th is the next webinar date at the same time. If you guys joined us a little late, we do have an awesome deal of the week is to set up a lead generating landing page for you. It's going to help you get more leads, generate more revenue, collect more emails, and you get a 15-minute setup call to make sure the page matches your website's theme, the right text is in the right place, and to make sure that it's working properly. It's only $45, and you can go to brilliantdirectories.com/landing, and just $45 one-time payment, and you'll have an awesome landing page added to your website. Pat, you have any final notes for everyone here?
No, just looking forward to the next webinar a few weeks from now. We're going to recharge the batteries, and I'm excited to see what we have in store for everyone.
All right. Have a great rest of the month, guys. See you in the next webinar.
Everybody. Goodbye.